would fly through the air with Peter Pan. I was Prince of the Ball at Cinderella's dance. Amen. Living with the castaways on an island in the sea. It was the perfect world with Mickey and me.
It's a wee thing, brother.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Here we are again, and we're continuing our study on the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes. And if you remember previously, we went over, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn, and blessed are the meek. And today, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about in verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Now, a lot of people like to say you can have as much Jesus in you as you want. In that context, if you want a little bit of righteousness in your life, if you're just a little bit hungry, you need a little snack, or you're just trying to fast, you're only going to get a little bit of righteousness in your life. But in reality, what Christ is saying to us is that we need to strive, be hungry. Have you ever been out and doing something? You're just hungry. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. I could eat a whole horse. You could lay a horse down in front of me. I'll lay a cow down in front of me, and I will eat the whole thing. Be hungry. Jesus is saying, you want joy in your life. You want to be all that I spoke you into existence to be. You got to be hungry for righteousness. You got to be thirsty for righteousness. Beloved, I was in a desert for a couple years. Or let me rephrase it. I was in the desert for almost a year, several years ago. And let me tell you, there were times when I was thirsty. I'm talking the skin off my lips peeling off, thirsty. I'm talking tongue starting to swell up, thirsty. I would have drank stagnant pond water if I could have found it. I was so thirsty. I just knew if I didn't get a drink, I was going to die thirsty. Beloved, be hungry and thirsty for righteousness, for the right behavior. See, righteousness is the right behavior according to God's standard. It's the conduct that we should have by God's standard, but it's more than our conduct. It's more than the outward things that we do. It's the positioning of our heart. It's the condition of our heart. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, who hunger and thirst, who have the impassioned desire to be what God created you to be. That's what He wants. He wants us to strive for the character that He created us to be. He wants us to reach out for it, to stretch our hand out for it, to be driven to be what He created us to be. You do that, and He promises you're going to be filled. You're going to become who He created you to be. You're going to walk in that righteousness. None of these Beatitudes should be taken separately and apart from one another. Now, we're looking at these separately and apart from one another. But none of them are to be taken separately and apart from one another. You see, the Beatitudes are guiding us into the very nature of God, the very nature of who we are. You see, because we are created in the image of God. He wants us to take the nature that He created us with. Remember, Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Never fall into the trap of taking these one item all by themselves, separated from the others. Well, today I'm gonna work on being hungry for righteousness, being thirsty for righteousness. You see, all these are intertwined, they're interlocked, they're interlaced, they're one is a part of the other. Beloved, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Listen, go back to Isaiah. Isaiah, I'm going to say 58. Well, where'd I put it? Somewhere here in the Bible, right? Isaiah 58, yeah, that's where it was. Listen to what he's saying. Now, he's speaking about fasting here, but remember, I've taught on this before. This fasting isn't a temporary thing. This is a lifestyle of fasting. Is this not the kind of fasting I have chosen? Verse 6, chapter 58, in the Old Testament book of Isaiah. Is this not the kind of fasting I have chosen? To loose the chains of injustice, to untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free, to break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry, and provide the poor wanderer with shelter when you see the naked, to clothe him, and to not turn away from your own flesh and blood? Then your light will break forth like the dawn, your healing will quickly appear, and then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. I don't just say that because it uses the term righteousness. I say that because, you see, there's a tangible result to the lifestyle of walking in the right behavior of God. By having the right heart, by having the right motivations, by having the right conduct, there is benefit to not just you, but to the world because of your righteousness. You see, we're clothed in the righteousness of God. It means there's a transference. He is transferring His right. He wants to. Let's rephrase that. His desire is to transfer His righteousness into me. His righteousness into you as a believer and a follower. You see, then it's not my own righteousness, because it's a dim light at best, but it is His righteousness that is exemplified through me. It is His right way of living, right way of thinking, right way of conducting ourselves, right motivation of the heart that is conveyed through us. Then we become a vessel, a conduit, if you will, that through the heavenlies He pours Himself into us and through us into the world. Blessed is he or she that hungers for and thirsts for righteousness, for they will be filled. Open your mouth, open your heart, open your spirit. Allow God to pour Himself into you, and don't just trap it in there. You won't be able to. Pour it out. Pour it out. It'll be like dawn to people living in darkness, and it'll continually get brighter like the noonday sun. As the sun rises in the morning and rises to its peak. And for those of you that are in the drought-ridden areas, you know full well what I'm talking about as that sun rises up in the morning. And right now in my neck of the woods here in East Tennessee, Northeast Tennessee, it's cool in the morning. It feels good in the morning, but as that sun breaks forth and as it rises up, the full glory of that sun can be felt. Beloved, be like that in your life. Blessed is he that hungers and thirsts for righteousness, because he will be filled. As you strive for the right heart before God, the right conduct, the right behavior, the right motivations, as you strive to allow Jesus to take possession of who you are, you become the exemplification of Christ in this world, and your light will break forth like the noonday sun. Oh, how can I plead with you as a believer to strive for this? Listen, don't stick your toes in the water. I want you to try it. Don't just stick your fingers in the water and see if it's warm or cold. Jump in. See how good it is. Commit yourself to having the right heart before God, the right motivations, the right conduct, the right life. Be hungry to live that kind of life. Take a year and fully commit yourself to Christ and watch what happens. You will become a transformer. The world around you will be transformed because you were hungry and thirsty for righteousness. Beloved, strive for this. Think about it. And God bless you.
Anywhere you lead is all right with me. 'Cause Lord, I want to follow you. There's a broken-hearted father suffered his greatest loss as he watched his only son die on an old rugged cross. This is where Jesus would go. This is where